Live stream. And yes, we are. Hello and welcome to GH Media Spotlight here on JLJ Media. Gee, that was coffee. I'm the JLJ of JLJ Media. Imagine that. And we are here to talk about General Hospital and all that happened in Port Charles. As you can see, we had a full house. This is very exciting. The fans are very excited that these people on there. But first, my co-host of nearly 9 years, Frank Moran.
James, you're too kind. This is so cool. It's always nice when we have people stopping by. This
Yeah,
is great.
we like it. We do. We like you. And the people who have stopped by, many of you know them. So you guys are like, oh my goodness, the four of you together. I'm like, yes, it is Shady Sunday for real, for real, for real. Both their names start with T's. And they have a show called GH Sunday Shift. Make sure you are following them, especially on Instagram. That's where I follow them on Instagram for sure. And they give their opinions too, like we do. And I do. I've been fans of this for years. They know this. And I invited them on Tracey Corner and Tonya Love, GH Sunday. So, hi, you guys. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
Whenever I can drop by and see y'all, I always come in your chat and be nosy.
You do. I see you in there.
Shift on your show.
Yes, yeah, I love it. And see, she got hair. All our hairs are going, and Frank too, somewhere in there. All our hair is going. That's good. Frank, you didn't get the memo. You didn't get the memo.
No, I should have just get these locks. My pouch.
I love it. So we're here to talk about General Hospital, folks. Everybody, while you're coming in the chat, I do my church announcements. It is Soap Sunday. We did the Wine Army Spotlight and the Bold and Beautiful Mini Spotlight already with Tammy Govea and Amanda Russ. Yes, it was crazy talk. We had a good time talking about both of those shows. Lots going on there. Check those out now. They are available audio and video. So you go to either platform, figure those out, and you can watch or listen to us talk about those. Those are out. Then after this, my chocolate twin, Tony Moore, and the gang are talking about Days of Our Lives over Edition Day. So go over there and check them out. Yes, Tony says I comment about my age every single episode. So who knows what he'll say this week. He said last week, he said, James is the only friend I know who knew Adam and Eve. So I said, don't eat that apple. I said, don't do it. But they didn't listen. We love Tony. So it's always Shady Sunday for us. So make sure you tune into them and say James and Frank and Sunday. They said they're all talking about this Sunday Shift crew. They are here. Say that we sent you. Go over there and check them out. And then tomorrow night, for all you When Calls to Heart fans, it is the season 11 ending. Can't wait, 11 seasons. And I have the executive producer, Brian Bird, joining me live tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be talking about the whole season and season 12. Yeah, we do that. So check that out. And if you want to see me and Frank talk about something else other than soap operas, we do the Star Wars Acolyte After Show on Wednesday with John Dunphy. Check that out. Check that out. So that's all your goodness that we're talking about today, about all the shows that we do here, stuff. So now we got people in chat. I don't have any updates on the Johnny Wachter case. I don't have any updates on that, so I can't answer that. James, I'm young. Oh, thank you. I love that already. It's so hot in Northwest Indiana. I have 5 fans on me here in Los Angeles. Oh, what the F's going on here, Frank? I'm over here by the water, and the water ain't doing shit. And I'm like, my hair is drawn up, and folks know what that means. That's not good. So it's not. This is kind of hard for me today too. I got fans everywhere, and my liquid death. Look at that. So before we get started with the actual show, because somebody brought up Johnny Wachter, I don't have anything about him, but I have to bring up because we brought it up on Young and the Restless about Eric Braeden. Talking about supporting Black folks like Eric Braeden. I told you guys, he's my buddy. He supports Black folks. He goes to the hood. He goes to places I don't go to here in LA to go boxing. And I was like, ooh, he's like 110th and Hoover. I'm like, I'll go over there. I'm Black, I'll go over there. So he supports Black folks. And it all started with our girl Tabiana and how dumb that shit was. But General Hospital did put out there's a statement. And everyone's has their mixed feelings about it, of course, or whatever, because it ties to the show. But I'm glad they put out a statement. They had to put out a statement. They had to. If they didn't, it would have been crazy. So I just want to ask the three of you kind of just more of kind of how were you happy to put out a statement at least, or kind of what your feelings are about it. And we have two Black women here today, so I really want to hear from them, especially because I know this affects all of us. Racism is not good at all, but towards a dark-skinned Black woman, we do not tolerate that. I would say, Tracey, you can go first. Actually, I'll have you go first and say whatever thoughts you want to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they finally said something. I think that Tatiana is so beloved. You know what I mean? Like she walked in. I know Tanya and I were part of the crew that sent her literal flowers. And so I was always like, I don't know what she wants to be said. I think many Black women know what it's like to face racism at work. And you don't want to be defined by that, but you want to be protected from that. And so it's always this balance. She now has all of this press, and it should be because she's amazing and because, she's beloved on this show when she was coming out of this couple and she's coming into a new story. And now we have press around like some racist woman who was saying something wild against her. So it really is, I just never know. But when I saw all of this, the cast coming out to support her, I was happy to see it. Maura West put out a very strong statement. Nancy Lee Graham put out a very strong statement. Folks started blocking like the troll. The particular one that we're talking about this time, though there have been other before. So I thought it was great. I know that there was like a little bit of conversation about them turning off the comments. I actually think that probably was right, because what happens when you put out a statement about racism is that people who don't even watch General Hospital will come into those comments, because that becomes a beacon for a racist to be like, why are you making everything about this? Well, everything is about this actually. So I was happy to see it. I hope that Tabiana feels loved and supported. It kind of doesn't matter how much love you get if you can have a million people saying they love you, and those two races are going to be really loud. So I'm glad that folks are coming together and like supporting her, and she deserves it. She seems lovely. We've obviously never met her, but she seems lovely. She seems loved. And beloved by the cast and the crew. And so I just hope people continue to uplift her.
As you know, I did meet her. I met her at the plane.
Yeah, I did. I saw that.
There. I met her and her mom. Mom was sweet and beautiful also. Tabiana, first of all, she smells good. You hug her, she smells good. She smelled good. She did. She smelled good. I was like, you smell good, girl. She came, she saw, she's like, Jay's got the car, ran up to me, get a big hug. I feel like she's like my little sister or something. I feel very protective of her, and meeting her mom and the whole thing. I just thought she is actually a lovely person. So this is just, it's crazy. Miss Tonya, what are your thoughts on the subject?
I know, I 100% agree with Tracey. We were talking about this earlier. I think, that platform, the X platform, has just become a serious hellscape. And so at first, when the controversy was first swirling around, I was like, oh, okay, it's just another bot or another fake account causing some mess. But what's significant about GH weighing in is that it's kind of a clear universal message that even bots are not tolerated. When you make racist comments, that proverbiates. It doesn't matter if you're a fake account or a real account. You can't just say stuff like that and get away with it. And so my hope is that anyone that makes comments like that, regardless of, if it's associated with a television show or anything, folks stand up and say something. And, because it shouldn't be tolerated on that platform, whether we're talking about soaps or we're talking about anybody. And so that's just the comment. And I hope this is not just a one-off thing. I hope it's a trend that anytime anyone makes racist, horrible comments, that people say something. And I just on the, Eric Braeden tip, man, I read that tweet in the Victor Newman voice. And now it's like I want to make a t-shirt on it. I want to make a meme. It's just the best thing. And it, like you said, it's a clear example of Eric Braeden, Victor Newman, just being Black folk champion. He's been part of the cookout. He's been in our grandma's lives. He's been in our mama's lives. Everybody loves that man. And he just showed 100% why we do, because it's not just about him being the all-powerful Victor Newman. It's about him being a great man morally, and we just love that. And so 100%, it was the best. It was like I was having a tough week, and then I saw that tweet, and I was like, yes, this is it. This made my life.
He broke the internet. Everybody was just like, we love him. Everybody broke the internet. I loved it.
Trended nationally as it should have. And so, yeah.
I love it. Frank, you and I do Star Wars stuff. We've had the whole all the woke things over there too.
Star Wars stuff too lately. Later.
It's been crazy. It's crazy. And and Frank and I, Frank's been an ally for years and worked with me and other Black folks like Carla Renata was on our show, and Nadine Harvey. So Frank, what are your thoughts on all this also? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, much like we talk about, since I'm not really dialed into the soap Twitter, I didn't even know what this was at the top, so I had to Google it. And it's like, and it's amazing to me that this it's well, I mean, the state of everything these days, but that it's 2024 and this is where we're at. This is where we're at. It's frustrating and depressing, but like Tonya was saying, it's like that people are speaking up to it when they see it, and that's the only way that you really can let people know. It's like, no, this is not acceptable behavior at all. So I'm really glad that GH came out so strongly on that, which is really nice, as opposed to them just, well, we don't want to step on any toes. Everybody's a viewer. Like, no. You can't be doing that with this kind of stuff. You have to draw a clear line. Like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah, I remember when Roseanne did her little thing, and ABC Disney, they came out fast. Again, points. They came out fast. They're like, no, we don't do this. They're like, and they swiftly. I think it's one of those things, like you said, instead of just kind of trying to go, we're all fans, and I want to step on their toes. It's like you got to take stances sometimes. I think there are a few things that are universal. You just take a stance on. I don't know. I just think that's
stomp on toes.
Yeah, step on toes. I step on toes all the time. I break toes all the time, so that's the problem. But I just thought that was kind of very cool. So I just wanted to talk about that really quick, folks, because that was big news. And of course, yes, the Johnny Wachter. Last I had heard, they're still trying to find the people who did it. Horrible thing. There was marches here in Los Angeles. There was going to be a march somewhere else, I think, recently too. I haven't seen what that was, but I talked to Bonnie Burrows, our buddy Frank, who played Glass, and she was there, and she did an interview with Access Hollywood. And they're trying. It's a sad situation. They're trying to figure it out, of course. That's all I know. I haven't heard any updates. I'll give you guys updates when I hear anything out there. So that's the thing. But I wanted to kind of mention the Talbiana thing because it's gross. It's gross. We don't need it. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants this. Not really. So it's kind of gross. Because we have a show to talk about, kids. We got a show. And our show is imperfect. It's not perfect at all. This show frustrates me to no end. But I am going to start off this conversation with a statement.
Oh.
We're going to go from there. My statement is, I clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. So, Jane Elliott is a national treasure. Go from there. When she did, I was crying when I saw her taking those pictures of Finn passed out, and there was no dialogue. And so she took a picture. They showed the scene. She collected herself. She started to cry, but she held it in. Took another picture. Like, it's like Jane Elliott wants to tell his ass off, but as her friend, she conveyed all. It's like, if she don't get any Emmy nominations next year for any of this, I'm gonna go down and I don't know. I'm gonna do something. Somebody's gonna get it. Somebody's gonna get it. But I'm just saying, I really want to state that through this whole thing with Gregory's death, everything. But to me, those scenes, she was like, I'll handle this. When she was with Violet and was talking to Violet and trying to shield her from what was going on, and when she was talking to Chase, I'm like, this Jane Elliott is just, me and Frank praise her all the time. That's why I want to start out with something good about this show, and that is Jane Elliott is good for the show. Ladies, you go first. It's your guest. Who wants to go first, please? What are your thoughts?
I mean, Jane Elliott is it. It feels like GH when she's there. I think people were concerned, and I was concerned that they were going to change up Tracey, and I didn't know how they were going to do it. But the role that she plays, she's funny. She makes you feel. There is no wasted scene with her. There's never a time that you're like, oh, I could have skipped that. Anytime Tracey Quartermain's there, I'm there. I'm not a Cody fan. Her stuff with Cody was amazing. Like you said, I mean, to be able to convey all of that with Finn silently, it's not even an Emmy. Give her the Jane Elliott Award. She's it. She's it. I love her. If we were talking about what's good at GH, she's it.
Yes, yes. They said Jane is everything we need. Jane is like home. She is vital. That's right, CT. Tanya, I love that. Your Jane Elliott Award. Tanya, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I agree. It was amazing. I think I saw, somebody made a comment that I think one of our friends to GH Sunday Shift said there's not a lot good going on, but the performances are top notch. And so there are some things that I don't like about GH, but the actors are doing a great job. And, Tracey commented that, she's not a fan of Cody. I'm a super not a fan of Cody. And like even the dialogue that Tracey had with him, I was actually shocked that she said some of the things she said, but I was still drawn into the conversation just because of her acting chops. So it doesn't matter, like whatever she's saying, whatever the writers put into her mouth, I'm still watching it because she's going to say it and act it in a compelling way that makes me drawn in anyway. So it was so beautiful, her performance. And I was really like, one thing I was disappointed that it was a cliffhanger because I wanted to hear what she was going to say to Finn. I was so ready, but it was such a poignant cliffhanger, taking the photos, having the emotional reaction because she kind of held everything together for Violet, for Chase. And so when she finally gets back to the apartment, that's when she had that emotional breakdown. I was expecting her to full on smack him, but she held it together. She found the smelling salts and she woke him up, just kind of a normal way. I was expecting her to, have like a bullhorn in her purse or throw some water in his face or smack him silly. Like, cause that's just, I would have been shocked at any of that, but she has such dignity, poise, and grace. And I know she's going to read him ragged, and I'm here for it. I cannot wait. But yeah. Oh, Jane Elliott is queen. 100%.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. She kicked him a couple times, but she was like kicking him when he's like, wake up, hey, you gave him didn't work. That's what she went through.
They were little love tap kicks as far as I was expecting.
Frank, what do you we like Jane? We always talk how we love Jane Elliott, but what are your thoughts?
No, I mean when she tells Chase, like there are things that need to be said that you can't say. That trust me, I can say those.
Mm-hmm.
It has been great. I mean, it's an example of just taking a character that has been a part of the fabric for so long, and not diminishing her, but finding different shades of her and showing those in a way that doesn't detract from anything we've ever seen before, but just enhances and enriches that character. And it's so much. I've always enjoyed Tracey, but boy, these last couple of years have just been constantly getting better and better. As we're just seeing just other colors of Tracey being able to come out, and it's been delightful. So I like even seeing her with Stella and just having a moment there. And it's not necessarily about her, but she was inquiring about Stella, and we're getting to see Tracey just, as she's been honest.
Mm-hmm. Freeze. Come back.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry. That she doesn't really have friends. She doesn't believe in them. But as at this stage in her life, making some efforts to try to reconnect with people in different ways. And I did like that before she wakes up Finn, she already comes out with that suitcase packed for Violet. It's like there's no like, oh, we're gonna talk about it and then I'll go do stuff. Like, no, this is happening, Finn. The train is leaving the station. I'm just giving you that.
Okay, she was like, I'm ready. She went plop, plop. I was like, okay, girl. Holly Wise, I'm a Tracey Corder super fan. All right. I guess you guys are a fan. There you go. I love that.
I love Holly.
We love you, Holly. Whoever you are, we love you. Welcome to our show. Subscribe to my channel. We have 71 people watching right now, so please subscribe. No, I like that too, Frank. I want to ask you, because I'm gonna start with you on this one. Right before that, though, there's been some controversy in the chats. So of like the whole, they trotted out Terry. I'm like, that's where you are, girl. Okay, they trotted her out with Portia. They really didn't need her because that Portia could do it herself to confront Finn. So the chats have been like, did Elizabeth have the right to say something? I say yes. Sorry, I say yes. But all that went down. He was nasty and he went down on them. So what do you think about those scenes, Frank? I think Michael Easton's doing a great job. Of course, he's doing a great job. But what are you thinking, Frank, about those scenes?
It's I mean, a sticky situation and certainly an HR nightmare not having,
Ooh.
I guess as they're trying to say, oh, we're friends first before we make it anything
Right.
official. But I feel like that's not the kind of talk that you can just like, hey, we're just friends and we're doing this. I feel like Finn has a point that there's nothing provable yet, and so they're just talking to him about his outside behavior. It just so happens to be that he's been on leave this whole time, so there really hasn't been an opportunity for it to affect his workplace behavior.
Right. You freeze again? Oh, Frank.
This internet, come
The
on.
man's trying to keep me down. The man's like, too many black people on here. They're like, hey, we gotta mess up the white man's internet. Like, not ours, of course. I mean, come on. But we got most of what you said, but continue.
Yeah. Oh no, so it's I feel like tough to have that conversation with Finn and not have him react like that. I can see where Elizabeth is coming from. I mean, she cares about the hospital as well. I mean, part of her family's legacy, so I can understand, and just caring about people in general. So it's tough, but not the, I don't know, maybe not the smoothest way of handling that with Finn.
But when he was like, he yells at her, tells her she takes it. She's like, I love you. I'm gonna be together. And he said, oh, and by the way, I'm paraphrasing, of course, as I normally do. But he was like, yeah, bitch, no more violence for you, basically. And her face was like, what? Her that changed everything. She goes, I'm her guardian. You made me that. He was like, no, bitch, I don't care about your guardian, whatever. But he's just drunk, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's like, something's coming, kids. You know it's coming. It's all coming. But it's like, he really is like spiraling down. And Michael Easton is doing such an amazing, they're finally using him. So ladies, me and him love John McBain. That was our guy from Live to Live. That was our thing with him. So we wish he could. But right now, he's working as Finn. So I'm gonna go with Tonya first about that whole. What's your take on all that too?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it last week, and Tracey will tell you her thoughts, but I think in the internet, folks are saying that it just seems unfair that people are going so hard against him when he just he had a bender, or he had a couple of drinks, and yeah, he's drinking a lot, but he's not an alcoholic per se. And before Friday, he had not really put Violet in danger. But for me, as someone that has in a previous worked in the medical field, I think those who are in that medical profession, we have a higher standard of what is acceptable behavior. So as someone that Elizabeth is a nurse, and also, as Tracey had mentioned before, she's had history with, alcoholics. And so she knows the warning signs. She knows what to look out for, and she just was trying to stop it before it got worse. And so, yeah, it is a little sketchy for her to be going to his bosses and saying, I think it was the first conversation that she had with Portia was maybe a little inappropriate. But after finding him, in his apartment with a random stranger and drinking, then that's okay, so maybe she might have a point and may want to go to the administration and say, hey, especially when she found out, oh yeah, he's leave early and trying to go back to work. That's okay, maybe you guys need to watch out for this person. He might still be drinking a little bit. You might want to, monitor the situation. I think that's appropriate, especially, as a nurse, she's kind of like a mandatory reporter almost. So I think for me, it was definitely needed. for that medical profession. Now, if he was just like some sort of corporate person that doesn't have life in his hands, then it's like a totally different thing. But he is, has people lives in his hands, and he can make a fatal mistake, a simple mistake, like, that can really detrimentally harm people. And so being totally sober is necessary. So I felt, it was warranted. But yeah, the way he went off on Portia and them, again, that was really like, ugh. I don't like it when, men are really overly aggressive in that way. And even though he didn't seem like he was going to be violent with them, yelling at them in their face and being super insulting was a little scary. So yeah. But again, like you said, Easton is doing amazing job portraying that. He has been, in my opinion, boring as Finn up until now. And and so now folks are, saying it's because he's rumored to be out, and it's a shame that he's giving his best performances when he's might be leaving. I mean, they could have used him better throughout his whole tenure there, but he's coming out with.
Frank gets about that all the time. Trust me. Right?
He's going out with a bang. He's trying to be like, okay, if I gotta leave, let me get my however many Emmys that he's had, so I can get a good job the next time. So yeah.
So folks, some of you guys know out there, I'm a former nurse, so I always have a take on this. And before we get to Tracey to answer last, I agree with Tonya. The first conversation was inappropriate. She was like, I can't tell you. I'm going to tell you everything. I'm like, that's not good. But this other one, though, that was our oath is do no harm. That's just that simple. So everybody who argued out there in the world, it don't matter. If I know you're drinking and you're doing something to yourself, I'm going to tell your boss at some point. If I say it's going to hurt, if you're trying to come back, we all agree you're grieving. We get that whole point. But there is something that he's already had problems before. So anyway, Tracey, now your turn. Please say what your thoughts are on this situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that y'all hit the nail on the head. Was that the expression? But it's not just that Elizabeth's a nurse; she's the head nurse.
That's true.
I think that that's like a piece that's been missing in that like thread. So I will say, and I don't know if we're gonna get to this, but I will say that for me, there's a difference between the conversation about him being at work, which I totally agree. Like, come on, you're being reckless and you're being careless. Of course, you shouldn't be at work. Right. If you are so reckless and careless that you are doing the things that you're doing, I cannot trust that you will come to work sober. Because to Tanya's point, you're not an accountant. You're not me who works from home remotely. I could be drinking if I want to. I don't have anybody's life in my hand. I don't drink during the day, by the way. But I think the other conversation, because I'm a former social worker, is the violent conversation. And I was like, I don't know about this, y'all.
You're gonna save time. Go ahead.
I don't like this was a bit much. The like trying to take the baby away from him beforehand, as a social worker who's had to be a part of those conversations, taking babies and taking children out of the house is so traumatic. And I think what we're seeing is an example of GH doing bad sequencing. So like if we would have seen this behavior that we just saw first, then all of the conversations about taking violent and all that would feel appropriate. But before then, it was like he had Chase saw him take one drink and was like, oh my God, we got to get Violet out the house. Hold on. So I feel like a bunch of stories have really suffered from the sequencing of them, but not the medical stuff. Nah, you can't come to work. You're a doctor. Would you want a drunk doctor? No.
I don't. Frank, she just brought up something I never even thought about before. We always talk about how the pacing is horrible, but the bad sequencing, Frank, I never thought about it when she just said that. That's right. If that should have came afterwards.
That's why we bring in the experts in, James.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I didn't think about that shit. I was like, wow, okay. I'm like, I wrote it down.
Bringing technical aspects to.
I know. With my hair. Okay, I was like, wow. Okay, I'm like going frankly. I was like, wow.
Well, speaking of that, in terms of, for me, it's there's a difference between real life and soap opera, where in real life you're seeing somebody perhaps going into an alcoholic spiral. And they're going down like it is in real life can take a while. But as a viewer, seeing that in a daily soap opera format, you're like, man, a little of this goes a long way for me. So I don't need to see it constantly. And so I'm always a fan of more accelerated soap opera storytelling when it comes to things like that, just because it's like, how long can I stay in this same kind of area? So for the two of you, how do you feel about how his spiral is being handled? Are you happy with the pace? Would you rather see it a little faster? Would you rather see it be a little slow down a little bit?
I agree with you. There's only so long that I'll be able to tolerate seeing drunk Finn just sitting around drinking and grieving. Well, partly because of the real life versus real life. Grieving is a difficult process in my real life that I'm kind of going through, even though it's been a while. And so I don't want to live in that space for too long. And then also, there's only so much of drink and it's going to be as far as entertainment value goes. So I agree. And I'm also cognizant of, as far as being able to tell a story that's interesting and that can capture an audience's attention. The timeline and the sequencing, the timeline of the story on soap operas is going to be different than what's going to happen in real life. And so I know this in my head. And so there's some level of tolerance that I'm giving in terms of that. So I'm not going to be like, oh my God, this is 100% unrealistic and I'm just not going to watch it anymore. Of course it's unrealistic because it's on Soap Time. It's also, a fictional show. So there's a level of forgiveness that I have for certain pacing. So for me, it's just right because I don't want it to take too long.
Tracey.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if it was like 10 or 15 years ago, I would want it to be a little slowed down because I feel like back then we had a little bit more time with characters.
Yeah.
I also feel like if Finn was a more front burner player, we see Sunny go down this road and it'll be like a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. And that's different because we see Sunny in all these different places. But Finn is not that kind of character. So I don't want to see him I think that the acceleration feels right to me for a character like Finn and for where GH is right now. I think the acceleration of people's attitudes about it felt weird to me. Because at first I was like, I'm kind of on Finn's side here. What y'all are doing too much as the people, the characters. But yeah, I think that the acceleration of the story makes perfect sense to me.
I'm with Luther in the chat and Devin. We are getting a POV from all the friends and family. And the pacing is pretty good. They could draw it out, but it's not really necessary. I agree with you both, you guys. It's funny because Angel Blue puts out, remember, he just got done with the lawsuit for malpractice. The hospital can't take a risk. So there's that. But I for me, I like that first it was Chase trying to confront him. And the pacing has been pretty good. Then it was Alexis. Well, Alexis said, is that did Violet hear? Is Violet right? When she's trying to play it off did Violet hear you? And he was like, what? She's not here. As I was kind of fun, it's that was a whole thing of trying to warn. This still wasn't enough. And you could tell she tried, but she was like, okay, I gotta go. Elizabeth tried twice. So Tracey is the big gun. I think she is the final piece. And so I think it's kind of this was smart. She could probably say, like I said, she's gonna say stuff no one else can say to him and get away with it. That's why I can't wait till tomorrow's episode to see what the F she says. Because it's gonna be, like you said, it's a good cliffhanger, but kind of she said, Violet is gone. She said Violet is gone. So his face was what the? So I'm very, very, very curious.
And then also medically, I think it's interesting how they played it out. So the first couple of shots, maybe a couple of drinks, he's not physically affected. But it seems as we go further on in time, he's drinking back to back more and more. And so now we're at a point where it's alcohol poisoning. His body is not being able to handle it. He's not even given his body time to absorb the alcohol. He's just straight shooting it down, pouring it on his wounds. I mean, just coming at alcohol coming every which way. If he was he was probably taking some alcohol showers, I guess. I don't know, but it's just his blood is just hey, I mean, there's too much going on over here. We're gonna have to take a time out and you're gonna pass out right now. So it's too much. So I think they're going very well in terms of how his body's responding to the alcohol.
I will say this because people know that the character of Violet I'm mixed about at best. They've been actually acknowledging. They acknowledge that in the dictionary precocious, her name is next to it. I get it. But my thing is, and Frank, something I've been kind of enjoying though is we're seeing her realistic view of I take care of my daddy. I had a drunk father, so I know what this feels like myself when I was a kid. But she feels so connected to her father, leaving him alone, or being afraid to leave him alone, all of that, and her finding him. I thought it was hard to watch. It was a scene that was hard to watch. I mean, in terms of that was so good. It was so good. It was hard to watch that this child had to see her father bleeding and passed out. And I know Tracey can talk about this too. It's realistic. So Frank, how do you feel about how you feel about her there? Because she's part of this. She's a major part of this.
Yeah, and I mean, it is interesting seeing other people picking up on Violet's attitude about this as well too, and where it's like, sorry, James, I can't hang out, I can't sleep over. My dad really needs me. He gets worried if I'm not home. So, yeah, I mean, you can just see that was Chase and Brooklyn's concern was that this is already going to be affecting Violet, and we're seeing that it has.
Yeah, because you see that Max is picking up on stuff. And all that. So, but you're right. It was the sequencing. It just blew my world off a second. I'm like, it was backwards. It's like it should have been. That happens now. Let's then he's like, we got to take it. But now I guess now we're caught up to. Now it's all caught up. Now it's like basically it's bad now.
I want Hayden to come get her baby. Come out of hiding, Hayden. Come get your baby.
Because imagine the loss that she's experienced. She doesn't have and she just lost her grandfather who was babysitting her a lot. And now the only other stable parent in her life is like falling apart. And she's feeling like, kids always take on everything. They always feel like it's their fault or they could have done something to change things. And so this is her doing that. And it's like really sad. I feel horrible for her. Yeah. And then, the actress is pulling it off as much as she can as a little girl. So kudos to that.
I was like, yes, Hayden, come back. Yes, I know. I'd love that. I'd love it, but that's not gonna happen right now. They're gonna feel good. I think it's gonna be between Violet and Chase, Tracey by extension, and maybe Elizabeth.
Oh, definitely Elizabeth, because she's the aunt. And
she's a guardian, apparently. She's also a guardian. I think she has kind of, and we have to say, because this also is a good thing. Thank you, Patrick Mulcahy and Elizabeth Cordy, for doing this. Alexis is a lawyer again. Thank you
Thank God.
Thank you so much. I'm like, when she was hugging Diane, I was hugging the screen. I was like, oh, thank you so much. Hopefully no more Aurora stuff. No more in what Invader, what this shit is. I'm like, oh my God. She's a lawyer again. I love it. Folks, what do you guys think? You're a lawyer again.
I think the same as you.
Frank?
No, and there's certainly plenty of cases percolating around here, upcoming stuff that we'll be seeing in courtrooms that I feel like it'll be good to have Alexis on the canvas to be able to represent that.
Yeah, yes. I can't wait to see her and Diane go toe to toe against each other. That'll be fun.
I was chuckling again. It was a funny moment. I was chuckling when Lucy and Scott were talking. Little history lesson for folks there. They were giving us a little history lesson. It was hilarious. And it was just like, you comparing me to her? Like, wait a minute. Like, nobody like, what are you talking? And it was kind of just, he was like, I'm just kidding. Like, okay, no, you're right. Like, it was hilarious because Scott and Heather had their own past. Lucy and Scott have their past because we had our schemes too. We were doing our stuff too. But they're really showing, I think at least they're showing that the town is not down for this on some level. So at least we're seeing from all the angles that homegirl was crazy. But she's always been kind of crazy. Like always kind of been. But as Alexis showed Diane a week and a half ago, because of your brilliance and her son Franco, which I never see, folks, I'll say it again because I'm shady as fuck. I've said it the whole time. I was never a Franco fan because They had that fucking tumor shit, and they guys were all like, "He's Franco, we love him." Well, you have to accept the Alexis stuff. You have to accept this Heather stuff too. Shit.
I am a Sam fan. I never was okay with Franco.
Right.
Never. First of all, I don't like James Franco, so the origins of the character. But no, I love Roger. You should have brought him back for somebody else. Franco was not necessary. Absolutely not. Never forgave him. Was mad the whole time. When they had him with Carly, I could have called somebody. I wanted to be a protest of one down there. I was mad the whole time.
I'm with you. I'm with you. But protest two. I'm with you. I got in trouble for saying that, and Frizz fans hated me because I was like, "Fuck this couple." I was like, "This is not working." But now you're up in arms over Heather. I'm like, but it's a metal thing.
Well, I mean, I was only a Franco fan because of Roger Howard. And it was like I did this cognitive dissonance thing where I'm like, I'm not looking at Franco, I'm looking at Roger Howard.
Look at Todd Manning. There's Todd.
I want Roger Howarth with Carly. I want Roger Howarth with, all these people. This is who I love. And so, yeah, I mean, I knew in my head that's Franco, but it wasn't Franco. It wasn't the Franco that, messed with Sam and Jason.
Yes.
It was Roger Howarth to me. Kind of like, love
it.
Drew is Ryan Lavery, but whatever.
Frank.
No, I mean, certainly the recast can help you as a viewer kind of disassociate the James Franco era and his shenanigans up with the Roger Howarth version. But still, the thing that frustrated me most was that scene between like Alexis and Diane about that, where Alexis had to explain Diane's history to herself. Like that frustrated the heck out of me. It's like I had been talking about like they're gonna Franco tumor Heather's hip, and to have Diane be so shocked that it was like, what? This? Oh no! Like, get out of here! Come on!
No, I totally forgot that Diane was a victim of Heather, because I was like,
right. Yes.
Why does Diane care about Heather? And then I was like, she was the first victim, and I was like, I totally forgot about that.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah. If you are a Grey's Anatomy fan like me, the hip thing just never did it for me, because we had a character on Grey's who had cobalt hip poisoning, and he just kind of had like, he never was a serial killer. He became like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? And Heather has been doing this for ages. Was her hip the problem when she literally tried to jump off a roof with Danny? I know the history. Like, what are we doing here? And I love Allie Mills. I think she's amazing. Amazing, but no. No.
Yeah, I'm like you. Again, it's a character crazy. We love the actress. She's eating it. She's had a good time. Don't worry about her. It's a good time. But yeah, it's kind of like some of you are like, okay, girl. And I know that Laura, I did a show on this about Laura being, this is Laura, this is how she is. Laura, yes, we're happy to have them here too. Everybody's their champion. People are coming in. So we're happy to have them on. So, and they have to come back, right? They have to come back, folks, right? But anyway, so Laura's always been a little shady on some level herself. She married her rapist. Let's go start from there. I didn't even say no more. She can start there. She left her son with the Cassadines to go back to her rapist husband. That's just Laura. I mean, we love Laura's an ingenue. She was an ingenue and a heroine, so to speak. And I love Laura. But everybody's like shocked by her behavior. I'm like, I'm not shocked by her behavior. I'm not surprised. They're actually going back to her roots a little bit, I think, with this. And she's claiming she doesn't really want Heather exonerated, but she feels a familial connection to her, which that's when Cyrus came. When he met her, he was like, girl, we're more like you think, bitch. And he was not letting her off the hook. And she couldn't fight it back. This is Laura. I'm saying Laura I know she's one of the good guys, so to speak, but she ain't as clean as we think. I don't know what Frankie might want to chime in on her.
What I did like about that this week was that people did, I think, explain to Laura, it's like, you can think this, but if you start the wheels in motion, there could be outcomes, possibilities of this that you may not want, may not expect, may come as a surprise, and a lot of the public may feel the same way about that. Yeah, so I mean, starting any sort of legal action can have consequences you cannot predict.
They said that, didn't they? They were like, it could go out of it's out of your hands. I mean, once you start it,
Right.
I'm just like, but this is lore, folks. I'm just telling you, like, this is Sunny, this is Ava. These are all the characters that got defanged over the years. This is them now. This is how they acted. This is how they are now.
Can I say something petty?
What?
Yeah.
I want to say something really petty.
Oh, please,
This is just like
welcome.
as a fan, I am really mad that we've had more fallout from Gregory's death than we have from Spencer's. Because see, I'm an old school Spencer fan. I love Nicholas Betchel. I obviously love Nicholas Chavez. Like, he died, and then a 20-something-year-old died, and we had like a funeral and something at Windermere, and then that was it. We didn't have like storylines that reverberated the way they should have. So Laura has spent more time trying to like free Heather and feel bad for Heather than she has grieving her grandchild. Now, I mean, and obviously we could talk about how they haven't done right by Trina too. Like, where is the reverberation from this like death of a young person?
He partially raised Spencer when Nicholas disappeared.
Mostly raised Spencer.
Yeah, so for her to not have more of a grieving process about it is really crazy. But I mean, she keeps saying over and over, I don't want Heather freed. Ma'am, if you didn't care about Heather being freed, it wouldn't matter if she had an unfair trial. It's just like, that's what you want. You wanted her to be freed in some way, shape, or form, and that's why you're going through all the motions. So she's lying to herself about her motives, and that's what's bothersome to me. If she wants to free her, own that, and
right, because you've been quiet before. You was quiet when Sean was in jail, and you knew that or when you knew that Sean didn't try to shoot Hayden.
Yeah, so
you've been quiet before. You've been quiet before, Laura.
Her and Justice back. Let's go further back.
Oh, so
yeah,
nah, Laura, we're not trying to hear it about Heather.
Yes, but Frank's always been critical of Nicholas, first of all, and all that stuff. But yes, but what are your thoughts about that part?
You've been critical of Nicholas?
Yes, over the years.
What a risky stance that I took. Holy cow, what? You went on a limb on that one, Frank. What I do like is I want to live in a world where I could just drop in on the mayor of like my city, where just like we can get Curtis.
Oh, talk about mayors. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes, it's rough out here, Tonya.
Laura's not the greatest.
Shout out to Tara Port Misery, who's always like, we need to impeach Laura. I'm part of the Friends of Port Charles with Cyrus, who wants her out of here.
And we love Port Misery. They've been on our show. We love them.
That story was just amazing, and I just loved it. I want that to come back just because it was entertaining as hell.
I remember Spencer did some stuff to the ballots.
Like Valentine knows, and like I always thought that was going to be something they were going to blow up at some point, and then it just never happened.
Never happened. I think it's so crazy. I just, I agree with you, the Spencer thing. I just thought that was really weird. He's a legacy character. And I don't know anymore because we have different writing regimes happening right now. There is this character of Spencer could come back. I think we all know now that it won't be Nicholas Chavez. He's a little busy. You get the new role, another new role with Ryan Murphy. So he's a little busy right now, which I'm not. I told you guys it was going to happen. He's a great actor. I knew it was going to happen. But I still there's no excuse. I agree. I still there's no. Oh, Tara, you're in the chat. Hi, Tara. I didn't know you were in the chat. She's in the chat. So thanks for the shout out. Yeah, we had you on the show. We love you. Anyway, there's no excuse because it's a legacy character that affects so many people, and so I don't know. Again, like I told Frank before, I don't understand some of these writing choices sometimes. I don't understand why they're choosing not to do that.
Well, I because I think the idea is like we never thought that he was gone. He was dead. He was at least temporarily. He was going to be away shooting his series, and then whatever happened behind the scenes, we already decided he wasn't going to come back. But I think everybody knew going out this was just a way to write him off temporarily, and at some point he was going to come back. But I would still think you'd want
Yeah, what?
to build up other stories so that whenever you do drop Spencer back in, you know, he's bringing something in as coming in from being off screen from off time, but he's also dropping into a situation where these characters are in totally different places than when he left.
And I'm always, right now with my job, I'm working on budgets for the city. So now I'm thinking about the budget for General Hospital. And given that they have just hired another person that's bringing some excitement, they probably are not focusing on rehiring for Spencer for a while because they're about to bring this other person back. So
it's not Brian Craig, folks. It's not. Brian Craig was just sniffing around trying to get some attention. It was not Brian Craig.
Oh, what about the Instagram posts? That was him on set.
I should say what's it? It might it might be him. It might not be. It might be a brief something. Who knows?
Yeah, but whoever it is, they've
Right.
spent money on somebody else that was on previously.
Yes.
So they're not focusing on hiring somebody new unless they are planning on doing both because they're getting rid of John McBain now. So there's a lot of shifting happening.
There's a lot of shifting, which happens when you have writing regimes. There are things people want to write for certain people.
But are we really saying that we didn't know Nicholas Chavez was coming back? I was really clear he wasn't coming back.
I was too. I was too.
I was really, really clear. I remember, Tonya remembers this even when, shout out to Sandra, who used to record with us and is now doing great things. I remember it was like 6 months into Nicholas Chavez's tenure. I was like, we're about to lose him. And Sandra was like, Tracey, he's been here 6 months. Please calm down. Like, so when he got this other job, and like I was like, oh, I was always clear. So I can't like get with this idea that we didn't realize that he wasn't coming back. Like maybe whatever, but it was a way that like cut Trina off, it cut the family off, it cut so many people off when it was so clear to me that he wasn't coming back, and they were using the excuse that maybe he was coming back to like justify not telling good story. And I just like, I'm like, how did I know and Rails didn't know? It was really
I felt
clear.
the same way. I thought it was all. I thought it was clear myself too. I thought there'll be a recast at some point, but it's not. I just thought he's moved on now. He's got a life, and it's gonna be. They'll have to get John McBain comment. Yeah, it's like in your dreams. The original Spencer comes back though. Oh, that ain't happening either. Apparently, there's some backstage.
Oh, Nicholas Betchel?
Yeah.
No, I didn't think he was coming back either.
That's not
We knew that Nicholas Chavez wasn't coming back, but we thought that Spencer would. That's the problem. We're all, because of the way they wrote that story, we're all in the way that they didn't follow through, and they didn't really have a warning for him, and then it's still kind of up in the air. There's no body. We're thinking Spencer's coming back at some point, and they haven't done that, and that's been disappointing.
Well, here's the thing: they got rid of all Laura's family. Who does Laura have? She has no kids. No kids.
Ace. How dare you, James? She's got Ace.
That cute little Ace with the cheek.
He is cute. I will give it. He is cute.
I just want to say keep Lulu sleep. I just want to always go on record.
No. I don't like. No, Tracey. I'm gonna be a little shady. Here's the deal: if it's Lulu that's not Emmy Ryland, I'm good. I don't mind bring back. I mean, I'm sorry. She was great as Lizzie on Guiding Light. She was great as Abby on Young and Restless. I felt the role wasn't right for her. I love me some Julie B. Berman. That was my girl who won 3 Emmys for it, bitches. I don't make the rules. She is the bomb. Julie B. Berman's busy doing other stuff. I was like, come on. But you can recast it. There's blondes out there. You can recast it. Come on. Do this. Plenty of work out there. Plenty of work.
I mean, I love Carly and Joss and Ava and all of these people, but I think that we might be at a cap for blondes. Just keep her asleep. We're good.
That's why keep her asleep. You think keep her asleep.
Yeah.
I'm saying Laura doesn't even have Lucky. She don't got Nicholas. She don't got nobody.
Bring Lucky back. I just feel I love Joshua Jackson. If you know anything about I know. And I kind of don't want him to come back. Or Jonathan Jackson. I said Joshua because my hands on Pacey.
No, you know
I love him, but I just think that like he would be short term, and I don't want like a raggedy short term story for Lucky. Like there's actual real story to tell
No,
with
we
Lucky.
need Greg Vaughn, who's hot as fuck, to leave
Find
Days of
Lucky,
Our Lives and come back as Lucky.
find
That's
Lucky. Absolutely. I mean, is he available? Do you
I
have
don't
that
know, but
tea?
we need to work that out, folks. We need somebody's to throw some money at him. I know Eric personally. I mean, I know Greg personally. He is one of the nicest people. He's a very soulful person. He is sexy as fuck, and he is good as Lucky. Let's give him a chance. They didn't give him a big chance when he was on. Jacob Young got a good chance. He's not coming back either for other reasons. He's not coming back.
Well, I would not like Jacob Young
Yeah,
back.
and he's my least favorite Lucky, but he won an Emmy for it, so whatever. But Joshua Jackson has his life. He's Christian, has his life. He's doing his own thing. Yeah, Luther, Jacob wants a job. Luther, you're true about that, but it ain't gonna happen. No, I know a few things, but here's the thing: Greg Vaughn is hot. Let's give him a chance.
Is
Come on
Greg Vaughn
there.
available?
I'm just saying, I don't know if he's available or not. I know he's on Days of Our Lives. They filmed 6 months. Hey, Ned, what's his name? Does Ned and Victor Kiriakis on both shows? Come on, Wally Kurth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, folks. He has,
But would you want them to handle Lucky like they've been handling Ned, where we're only seeing him part of the time because he's splitting time between two shows?
No, I want him full time. I'm just saying that if they have, I'm just saying that people do too. I want him full time. And this story is Eric over there. And again, recast Eric, somebody else. Okay, thanks for coming. And then come over here and bring him over as a cop. Didn't he have a drinking problem at one point, a drug problem at one point? Him and Maxie, him and Sam, there's a lot. The character of Lucky really can fit right in. There's so much there. But I always say this as a caveat. So I'm with Frank on this a little bit. I only want somebody back if they're going to use them.
Right.
Sure. Right.
We all agree on that. I don't want anybody to come back and then like a Kim Delaney situation where we have Jackie for like a month or two and then she's gone. They didn't really use her.
Right.
I want people to come on. If it's a short-term stint, that's one thing. But like I said, if we're going to come on for a contract role in a major role, let's do it. Yes, Ari Zucker's leaving the show. That's why she left already. But yes, she's leaving Days. That's his leading lady.
It's originally I was like, oh, I rather would have seen, instead of Kate Jagger coming back, that it would have been Lucky in that role, that character. But seeing how little they've used him as well, especially recently, I would have been like, oh well, what are we doing? But maybe Lucky, it would have been different because he would have had much more other stuff than Jagger, who hadn't been on the show in forever. So maybe having Lucky in that role would have generated more story, but their little use of Kate's has not given me much hope that Lucky would have been served better.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. I'll do that. But speaking of somebody who is back, we got the Frank. Your Silver Fox is back. Mac is back. Mac is back. Mac is back. I would say when he walked through that door, and just knowing that he went through so much with the cancer and everything, he looks amazing. First of all, and it's just like, again, like you see Jade Elliott, and it's like he is part of the fabric. He's just part of the fabric of General Hospital, even more than Felicia and all them. They're whatever. He was on the show the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm shady about anybody, but I don't care. He was on the whole time. He raised all them kids and did everything the whole time. And just seeing him, they trotted out my buddy Tristan Rogers. They trotted him out for a minute too. I was like, where you been? Got him out there too. And Anna, it's still, Zaddy. He is. Mac Daddy is back. I was like, it warmed my heart that General Hospital really did hold a spot for him and said, do what you gotta do. And I see my chat agrees. And it was just like, it was a wonderful welcome. I loved it. I don't know. What do you got? Frank first, that's Frank's man. That's he loves him some Mac.
So great. And he's got more, given all his recent issues, he got a little bit more of the buzz cut going, looking good.
Yes, he did.
Interesting choice of them having him hanging out with Frisco. I was curious about what his mission was. I was taking him out of the town for a while, but hearing that it was Frisco and they had all the stuff, it's like, well, that's a conversation I rather would have seen on screen. I'd rather get Jack Wagner in for giving.
I know, for a minute. Come on, he went to Bold and Beautiful for an episode. He came back as character over there. It's like, come on for a minute. Let's see him. Shit. Loved it. Ladies, what do you guys think about the Silver Fox?
The only deadbeat dad I like is Lucky. I'm not trying to hear from Frisco. But I was really happy to see Mac. I thought he looked great. I thought the welcome with him for him was so beautiful. Everybody was so excited to see him. I love his scenes with Maxie. I loved his scenes when Felicia saw him. I mean, he's just, I hope that whatever we're doing, it leads into like an actual good story for him. That's not just about Cody, to be honest. But yeah, it was really, really great to see him. And I think they did right by making a big deal of his return. And it really, you could feel the emotion coming through because people were happy to see him.
How
But
excited are you about Cody being Mac's son?
You said what?
How excited, Tracy, are you about Cody being Mac's son?
A 0 out of 10, a -5.
I'm excited. I'm just hoping that Mac is suitably angry and upset at Cody for lying and doesn't automatically accept him as his son. I want there to be anger. I want Mac to go in because I
I
mean,
don't
right,
think he will.
unfortunately, you might be right, but because I don't like Cody, I don't want him to win. I don't want him to have an easy go of it. He's feeling guilty, and everyone's like trying to. That's what I don't like about this dialogue that he's had with Tracey, because Tracey seems way too forgiving about all this, even though he didn't tell Tracey that he was trying to scam. But I don't like that Tracey likes him. And so I don't like that. And so I want, when folks to find out, I want them to shun him. And to like, I want him to be fired. I want him to be homeless. I don't want him to be hanging out with Maxie. I want the little boy James to be like, ugh, you're a liar. I don't want to hang out with you anymore. I want him to be shunned because I think he deserves it and I don't like him. And so that's how I feel. That's the only excitement that I have about this story is the potential for them to be pissed off at him.
Oh, I'm so sorry, friend. I think it's insta family. I think it's insta family when he finds out.
Which will only increase my need to fast forward all scenes that he's in.
It still was amazing to me that Tracy made the comparison between Gregory and Cody. Like you were
Yeah,
like,
it was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. I was just like, what the hell? Who wrote this? Like, this is ridiculous.
I had never seen that. And anytime I watch a scene with Cody, it's like, yeah, that's like a young Gregory. That sure is.
Absolutely not.
I just can't stop laughing. That is hilarious.
Oh yeah, like I really not like somebody, but when I do, I go in 100%.
I love it. I just everything you said was I have no comments. I think it's hilarious. I loved it all. You said it all. Next, another big contention for fans: Sam and Carly.
Woo!
Uh-oh. Knowing how Tracy feels about Sam, if she's pledged her allegiance now.
Yeah, so go first, Tracy. Go
No,
first.
no. I love Sam and Carly. Like, if I'm talking about like characters, like those are my two top characters. And so I don't actually mind them going at it. I was confused about again the sequencing because they had like this big blow up at the pool where Sam like bought up Morgan, and then she saw her a couple of days later or a day later or whatever it was, and she was like, "Hey, girl, you want to go sit in my office? So sorry to keep you waiting." I'm like, Carly, who? Like, who would have ever? So I think Sam has every right to be mad at everybody. I think that Sam should have every right to go off, but I want that energy on Jason. When she went to Carly and was like, why don't you tell Jason to stay away from Danny? Sam is so smart. Sam knows that Carly wouldn't do that. I didn't understand. Like, it just, I love both my girls. I love a Car Sam moment. I think that they are amazing actresses. I love seeing them together. I think the whole story makes everybody look dumb. And for Sam, I'm like, you literally are breaking the law and putting yourself in harm's way that you could get locked up by the feds and get Spinelli locked up by the feds and take him away from his family. And now you're mad about whatever happened with Carly. I don't mind Sam being mad. I think that if Sam would have said something like, both my baby daddies went to jail for you, or whatever it is, I don't mind Sam being mad, but I just felt like the dialogue was silly and I wanted her to go off on Jason and not on Carly.
They're great. 104 people are watching right now. Thank you, 104 people. We're working it out today. Thank you, folks, in the heat. I don't know who wants to go for after that. I don't know who wants to go next. Please.
I mean, I'm more of a Carly fan than a Sam fan, and I kind of felt like both of them are a little bit hypocritical because they both jumped into relationships with gangsters full knowledge. So neither one of them has room to judge each other. But I also felt Sam was even more unfair to one. Carly had no idea why Jason is up with the feds. And so to go to her, spring this news on her and be like, this is your fault. You should have turned yourself in. Carly didn't even know she was in trouble in the first place. So why would you go in there telling her she should have turned herself in? I mean, that's like, maybe give her a couple days to digest the news and then tell her to go turn herself in, but not right this moment, not blame her for Jason's behavior because she had no idea. Now, it's not shocking that Jason would do this because, like she said, Jason and Carly have this weird dynamic where they're ride or die no matter what, even over their own kids. And that's crazy. You can be mad at her for that, but don't be mad at her over getting caught in a situation because she probably even knows deep down why Carly had to do that. She was part of the mob life. She knows what that's about. So don't act shocked that Carly did something like that. Like, oh my God, you stood in the place of the mob? Are you crazy? Like, you were a mob person's girlfriend. Why would you be shocked at that behavior? And so that was a little off to me. But her being mad at Carly in general and being jealous of the relationship, that she still apparently is jealous of that. And so I was like, that is understandable to me. But the little nitpicky things is what I was concerned about. So yeah, but I loved it just because, Laura Wright, the acting was amazing on both ends. And so I was drawn in. I was just like, pow, pow. They were like, I was like, my jaw was dropped because they were throwing some bombs at each other. And I was like, what?
She said Morgan.
Morgan. I was like, Morgan, I was like, that's low. They were throwing some low blows and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Right.
But also, why did you choose to have a baby with him was a low blow too.
Well,
I don't know. As a fan of both, I was like,
Yeah.
I felt like defending and being on offense with both my girls. Like, go girl, go girl, go girl. And I actually think that that's like what makes a soap good. But I just think the storyline in general is really flimsy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? There's a recording of Carly maybe being the head of the mob. Like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
Right.
And I think Carly's point, she said Jason would have done this for any of us. Jason would have done this for Sam, for Liz, for her. It happened to be Carly, but it's not exclusive to Carly.
And 100% agree about that the whole next day, being friendly with each other. And then Sam going back to Spinelli was like, yeah, I don't think Carly knew. So it sounds like she
did say that. She goes, yeah, I think I believe her. She goes, no, Carly's a good liar, but I don't think she knew.
I don't think she does. So, like, which side are you on now? Like, what? I don't understand where she is because she kind of goes back and forth. It's crazy.
This has been the frustrating thing because we've seen so many other storylines in GH. It's all about when we're trying to catch the bad guys. It's all about having the evidence, and it's got to be ironclad, and that's why these people are never brought to justice for so long. But this recording that is just like Carly just name checking being involved, but there's no actual evidence of her doing anything. There's nothing, there are no financial records. There's nothing else that would do this. That this is the piece of evidence. Like, oh yeah, this is gonna get Carly, and so we got to do everything in our power to stop this. Is a little much for me on this.
Yeah, and you're not going after. First of all, another travesty of justice is my girl Lydia Look not being on as Selena Wu. Popular character that everybody loves, and not on the show right now. Don't know why, but if that's the case, to Frank's point, you guys right. Well, then they got her too because she was one of the 5 families that was there. Why aren't they after her? It's like it's the flimsiest of like they're pieces together as they go along or something. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. There could have been a stronger reason.
Everything that John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith is part of is flimsy. The evidence that he has against Anna flimsy. Evidence he has against
Yeah.
flimsy. He ain't got no basis for being an FBI agent. He says, I'm the best. You ain't the best. If you got to use a mobster to get evidence against your client, you ain't the best at anything. You're wasting my time and energy. Now, I enjoy the flirtation that he has with Carly.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too.
But he's the worst FBI. I don't know. Actually, soap opera, law enforcement are the worst. So they just.
Oh, yeah, well, PCPD, we know how good they are.
Right.
Over the years.
I would also say that, like, if Carly can get in trouble for being the head of the mob years ago, then how is Sonny not in trouble right now? What are we talking about? Was Cyrus working with the FBI, which is believable, but he was there too. And also, like you said, there's no reason that we don't have Lydia Look. I love Selena Wu. Every time that woman shows up on screen, she commands all the attention. Where is she at?
Exactly. And also, it's just weird because Sonny was gone being Smike in Nixon Falls. The place shall not be named. Because Frank hated that whole storyline to death.
Me too, Frank.
Yeah, Frank was, he was not having that. The whole time we had talked about it, he was not having it. So Smike was overdoing this shit over there. And Carly explained why she had to step in. And so everybody knew why she had to step in. Like, it was kind of clear why she had to step in. It was like she wanted to do it. It was like she needed it. She had to because she had to protect the family. She had to protect the rest of everybody else, the family. So I mean, we have very different writing regimes. Like I said, again, we're in the middle still. Right now, we still got Patrick and Elizabeth's leadership. That's going to go away at some point, and then it's going to be just Elizabeth. So I don't know how. I don't like the Hook story. Was very different before. They made it later and made it into Heather. It was somebody else before that. So I mean, they're yeah, no Phyllis, my girl. I don't have her either. But this like it's a whole. So I'm curious to see how they're going to really play this out. Because Jason, I'm tired of seeing Jason one more time go, I want to get out of this. I'm done. I mean, okay, now I'll give you some points, just a little small points, because they are good together, and that is Vanna. I like Anna and Valentine together. I love their dynamic. The actors have chemistry, but seeing her try to use her wiles, I guess.
Yeah.
I know, I was like, to get information, I'm like, oh. So, how do you guys feel about that?
Wait, can I say one more thing about the mob thing? I do want to say, and I've said this before, I think that part of the problem is that they have not showed us how dangerous the mob is. So we've seen Jason like count coffee beans and then get shot up at the warehouse. And does Sam even know that happened? Like, I want to say, I have to go up for my girl Sam. There are reasons for her not to want Danny around Jason. I'm not mad about that. As a mother, she should protect her son. But they haven't shown us. I mean, back in the day, we would see people locked down in a compound. We would see people have to have bodyguards to move around. We had a real feeling that the mob is dangerous. Sonny done been shot up like 4 times in the last few months, and we still don't understand. Like, we see a bodyguard at the door, but we don't see and we don't feel that danger. And I think that's really missing. Even as we go into this Vanna story, like that danger is also missing.
Yeah, the thing that's frustrating about that part of the story is just the inconsistency there seems to be between those scenes with Jason and Sam and involving Danny, where like I get where Sam's coming from, but it felt like at some point like her and Jason had that talk in the warehouse where it seemed that they had reached some kind of understanding.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now Sam is just all of a sudden back to being like, Danny cannot be around you at all. And everybody do everything you can to help me keep Jason away from Danny. And I don't like, Sam, I get your point, but I don't know if it's like there's a middle ground that I think is certainly doable between all this. And it's weird that they kind of flip-flopped that story with
remember she talked to Dante too a while back, and Dante was giving his 2 cents because he has a father who's a mobster. He goes, yeah, a little older, I get it, but like you can't. I mean, Homeboy's he's gonna be grown up soon, so you really can't. And he has a bit of Sam in him and Jason that's been very established. So,
and this would make more sense to me if we saw a lot more of Danny trying to be around Jason.
I agree.
But we've barely seen that. We've seen him one time showing up at Bobby's and then a time at the warehouse. But if he was frequently doing this, where I could see where Sam's like, you gotta stay away. But we haven't even seen that.
Well, ladies, that you bring up, it's like the thing is, back in the day, we had the famous Clink Boom episode where we saw Lily get killed, Brenda gets shot up in the shower. Like there was real consequences to stuff. Lulu got caught up in it. Morgan got caught up. We've seen over the years, not recently, but we've seen over the years where you're right, there was a real consequence. That's why I think they're keeping Morgan dead. I think they've kept him dead this whole time. I really think they're going to keep him dead. But it may come back as a ghost or a spirit or something, who knows, whatever. But I think because there was a real consequence there. Lulu's in a coma or whatever, there was a real consequence. So there's something is missing. And I was never a mom. I wasn't a fan of the Goosey years, so I was not a big fan of the mom and all that crap.
I was.
I know, but some people liked it. It's just not my thing. But I will go back if they show me some more danger. Right now it's like they're in that, like Sonny. We always make fun of Sonny all the time, but he's like his ineptness all the time. He couldn't get rid of Dex. I mean, come on, folks. I mean, it's like I would feel a little more invested, I think. And I think Carly and Sam should never be friends. I'm sorry. Frenemies maybe, but not friends. I don't think so. I like Carly and Elizabeth's maturation. It's very believable. They're not close, but they look out for each other. Their kids are friends. It all makes sense to me why they kind of talk. And they're kind of family in a weird way because the kids are related, it's like that. So it's kind of like there's something there. But with Sam, I always felt like that's the major one. Sam, Jason, that was major. But Carly is endgame. Carly and Jason are endgame. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. I don't. But it is.
I disagree.
I have inside information to tell you that's what they want. They want it. That's what they want.
That's not what I want. Not at all.
Come on, girl. Don't always go want. Like, please. But that's why I'm so glad they haven't put Carly and Jason together right now. That's it'll be too forced. Like right now, stuff needs to play out a bit. But I've heard other stuff that's because for the last 30-some years, it's always been Carly and Jason on some level.
Well, I'm not interested. But I hear you and I understand it. But I like them as friends. I'm a Jarly friendshipper. I am not a fan of their relationship dynamic. I just don't think they have it in it for me. Now, regardless of what they do, I'm gonna still watch it, but it's just not it for me.
Well, Carson's over, folks. Don't worry about that part. That's over. That's dead and gone. That's dead. I know some information on that too. That's dead. Don't worry about that. But and then but I just think going back to I think Carly and Sam should be maybe frenemies at best to me. That's kind of I look at it as, which is fine. They come together for certain things, but he's always put Carly and Michael first compared to anybody else. That's how it's. I don't make the rules. It's just that's how they've been writing it for years. Michael is his kid basically. That is basically. I mean, they want to say it's Sonny's, but no, it's basically Jason's. That's the person she brought him to all those years ago. My girl Sarah Joy Brown, I love you. My favorite Carly. But they were but literally it's just that's they always made it seem like Jason, he'll protect all of them. He came to Elizabeth's defense a couple weeks ago. He'll be there for the women he did love. Robin too. That was one of his girls too. But him and Carly, there's this thing. And Sam, I think Sam was probably the biggest, almost not threat, but like she was next. She was also he loved Sam. He loved Sam. And Sam loved him. And she's right. Twice he's been taken away. Twice. That messes her up, I think, a bit. Whether it's his fault or not, it messes her up a bit. She's upset.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they're writing it. That's how they're writing it. I would say wrote it differently too, but that's how they're writing it. And then we got Drew.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So again, I'm trying to figure out. They never want Drew and Jason together. I guess they're just never supposed to. Never twain shall meet. Apparently, I don't know what's going on there. But Carly's like, your brother's running for the Senate or whatever he's running for. I'm like, are they gonna put them together at some point? I mean, like, I just feel like I don't understand the choices of them. Just they don't. There's so much life in that story they could do, but they're choosing not to. So I don't know how you guys feel about a Ryan Lavery and company. I don't know how you feel about all that. So what's going on there, kids?
Well, I do like that it's like social media, where in terms of like Drew's on Twitter all the time, and Jason just doesn't care. He's like, yeah, I don't care if this stuff gets brought up, but my car crashed with AJ and all the
Right.
other things in life. Who cares? It's like I'm not reading it, so what do I care?
No, you don't care. You don't care. You don't fuck.
But it was weird though, because when Drew went to go tell Carly he was gonna run, she seemed supportive. She's like, okay, great.
Right.
And then now it's like, I'm like, did we forget that happened? Because it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I am annoyed about Drew and Nina, to be very honest with you. I hate it. I wanted Drew to be with Jordan, because I think they look great together. And there's no reason for Tanisha. She is too fine to be single with him, Port Charles. It's wild.
It's no.
Boys, girls, whoever should be at her door. Like, this is too much.
I just want to say real quick so you continue first. I saw her at the Emmys 2 years ago. Homegirl, beautiful chocolate skin, pearl ivory dress. She literally floated across the red carpet. I see her walk. Homegirl floated down the runway, and I was just like, and we were all just like, I'm like, I'm gay, and I was like, okay, I'm straight again.
I'm not again.
Yeah, I'm back. About 30 years. I'm back.
The again took me out.
He's hotter than F. Homegirl should not be single.
Why hung up on Curtis? Please. Absolutely not. But she's too beautiful to be single. That wasn't my point.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No. I would get caught in a Tanisha cloud anyway. Like, what are we talking about?
Yes.
But I don't care about this. It doesn't make sense with Drew. I actually wanted for Jordan to run for Congress because we were really like, if they were going to do a Congress story, because who else cares about that? But they seem to be like building her up that she was really good at politics and she really understood things. So I was like, oh, cool, she'll run. Drew will be her campaign manager or something. Who in Port Charles cares about AJ and Jason's like car accident? You think they care about that when you were just in jail for insider trading? Nobody cares about Jason.
Thank you.
It's silly.
Sounds like you, Frank. Like you.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
and I have a bomb to drop about Drew. That what I think, but I'll let everybody else talk first.
Ooh, okay. We'll go on, Tonya.
I'm not interested in this story at all. That's all I gotta say.
She's all, and I'm done. She's like, next.
This story frustrates the heck out of me. I'm not a huge Nina fan, but the way
you're my people.
They just write her so obsessive about this Willow, and the way she's just like, I'm on cloud 9 because I had an interaction with my daughter. Oh, I can't stand any of that. I thought the spark of like a Drew and Nina moment just to have kind of like that hate sex. Yeah. Okay, great. But now if they're trying to roll like, oh, they really started as, they hated each other, but in secret they really love each other. I don't care about that story. I don't want it. I am all with you. I want him with Jordan. If he's going to be with anybody, do that. That is a much more interesting relationship pairing to me, especially because with Curtis involved, it's just a little weird. And I'd rather see that than what's about a relationship with Nina. I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, don't care. Well, I mean, people are bringing up Zeke, which he's not coming back, obviously. They have no interest in him. Maybe he'll come back one day. Who knows? They have no interest in him. Now, you're saying Brick and Jordan. The online fans were like, nope. The online fans.
Brick and Jordan? Who said that?
AE in the chat said it. And people are like, I just want the fans did not like that pairing whatsoever. They were against it. And Stephen A. Smith's opened his mouth too much right now. So there's a little stuff going on there. And so, but they're not having that at all. Now, nice big arms and chest Detective Bennett. I can work that one. That's fine. He walking around them tight polo shirts. I was like, okay, detective.
Yes.
I'm back to being gay again. I was like, I'm back. I was like, I don't know who he is, folks. You tell me, I don't know what the actor's name is, but he can work it out.
Right.
So I'm like,
he's fine.
Yeah, he works.
I think, and I don't know, maybe this is just everybody knows this because I haven't been online. I think Gio is Drew's kid.
I think so too. Because he said when he saw Jason, I've seen that face before.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be like a big
Yes,
thing
that
that comes
Frank.
out in the
It was
big
that
thing that
it
comes out
was
in the campaign.
yes, I think so too. I think so
And
too.
he said his dad like died in
Yes,
2002. All of that.
yes.
I think he's Drew's kid.
I
Drew
think
had a lot of kids without knowing.
Yeah, man. Drew's just all
R.I.P.
about that.
Oscar.
yeah, Oscar. It's like Oscar. Yes, that's right. And isn't Kim pregnant with his kid? Did she leave town pregnant with his kid or pregnant with somebody?
No,
It was either with Franco, who was Drew in the brain, or
That's right.
Julian. We don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I forgot about that. That's on there too. Who's the mama? Somebody else. So it was related to the Cirillo family, the Cirillo whatever family. Related to them.
both his parents died, right? Not just the dad.
Yeah. So both parents are gone. They're gone. So I just know that I saw that too when he said I see that face before at my house or something. I'm going. Drew had Jason. They were twins. Very clever. I'll give see James can do something every once in a while. Very clever. Very clever. Dexter Bennett works. He does work kids. I'm like, I don't know. And but see, you know what's funny? I don't mind Kate's either. I think Homeboy's hot too. Adam Harrington, that little floppy hair works. I'm not using those kind of people, but he's hot. Yes.
They should have just brought it back as recast Jax.
Oh,
That would have been more, because that would have been a more believable character for me. I just do not see him as a Jagger. No.
good call. It's been frustrating because they've teased him with Lois, they've teased him with Carly, and yet then all that just seems to have kind of dropped. Where so it feels like, well, they're not really going to invest in him. It seems like.
But am I hateful because I want Brennan and Carly together too?
No, I'm with you.
I
would like that as well.
Brennan also
better.
Oh my
He's
God.
such a flirt. We have a lot of men on this cast who just have so much indiscriminate chemistry. So it's like him. When he was in the scene with Valentine, I was like, are we doing something here? Because they're just both throwing it everywhere. Like Cameron Matheson just throws chemistry everywhere. I'm like, is he about to do it with Willow? Is Willow about to
that's our thing too.
Like these men are just tossing the chemistry around.
I have to say that because I'm not a big fan. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of Willow. But I will say when she's around Drew, I was like, I think I asked Frank last week, are they doing it?
She lights up when Drew comes, like lights
yes,
up.
she do.
Right.
Michael.
He better wake up.
Michael better go to Sasha. Better go back to Sasha.
Right.
Make her cook a meal.
Yeah. I liked Michael and Sasha. That probably is actually my favorite Michael pairing, if I'm being honest. Because he had a chance. This is when he was like kind of Playboy Michael. He could spend his money. He was a little fun. That was my favorite Michael pairing, to be honest.
No, Carly has so many options. Can't see it all, but she does. Actually does. But I'm like, Brennan, they drove Charles Messer off of X, but that's no story. Them stupid fans. But
wait, what happened?
They drove him off X. He was trying to talk to the fans, and I guess he didn't say anything to me that was anything that was crazy. But he was responding to somebody, some troll or whatever. They got mad at him, and they started attacking him. Everybody started attacking. He just said he left. I think he left Twitter.
Oh.
Or he's still on. He's not on there really or whatever. But the guy is hot. And I just love the way he be working. Him and Carly be going back and forth. It's like, it's so cute. The dialogue is good, everything. I'm like, I don't care if you're a maniac. It's probably the best sex in your life. I don't know.
She was like, he was just kind of lightly handcuffing me. He wasn't going to hurt me.
Yeah, it's like, he had the zip ties, but it was like, he was like, Anna, don't you carry zip ties, Anna? She was like, no, I don't carry zip ties. I was like, that's all. He's like, with that pan, he kind of liked that she hit her with he got turned on, I think, when she hit with the pan. He was like, oh, with a tray or whatever it was. I want Brennan's hot. Sorry, Brennan's hot.
Yes.
I'll take it. So there's a lot. You're right. There's a lot of chemistry, but it's funny because they're using them, but nobody's settling in somewhere. So I mean, it's just kind of like they're all kind of circling each other.
So you brought up not liking Guza, which is not, I don't share that concern. And I think that part of what I liked about him is that you didn't have everybody was connected. The stories all felt connected and they were going somewhere. And I think that people who liked that era, that was what they liked. That even if you didn't like necessarily what was happening, something was happening. Stories were connected, stories were moving. And I feel like that is a little bit of my issue with GH now. that they're not, I don't know what story they're trying to tell. I'm not really clear, and it keeps moving and changing and reshaping. And I don't know if it's like based on fan reaction or trying to whatever, but I think the fans, whether you I hated Jason and Liz. That's my op couple. I hated it because I was a Jason fan.
Oh, you're like a liaison. You're like liaison.
Absolutely not. But I during that time, I still watched the show because things were happening on the show. I didn't have to like everything that was happening. And I feel like now it's just based on like, oh, I like this couple, or I like this thing. And they try to write towards people liking couples and not trying to write a full story. And that's, I don't know, it's just not working for me.
I don't know. Do I have Frank?
But yeah, like certainly the Pikeman storyline has just been
Oh.
one that's just been so what they want to seem to be some sort of umbrella storyline, but it's just been so weird and pivoted and changed and altered. And at this point, I'm just like, guys, let's just wrap this up because
Wasn't Pikeman a woman at first?
yeah,
All the way back in 2100 AD. Like, wasn't it like a woman that Cyrus, everybody was afraid of? That I almost said Franco. What the fuck his name was last time? Austin. And Austin's dead somewhere. We don't even know what happened to him. His diary.
Nobody cares, apparently.
Yeah, nobody cares. Right.
I mean,
So
who knows who's sending Ava those notes as well.
right, so they were the notes. I mean, it's all this stuff that was going on. I'm like, they changed it all to now Valentine is Pikeman, I guess. Or is he Pikeman? Or is he still just like, I want it wrapped up. I want it wrapped up so fast. Let's move on to another story. Let's move on to another story. I'm like, if I had to work Pikeman one more time, I'm going to run in traffic here in Los Angeles in the middle of rush hour, and if the cars hit me over and over again, because I am over this Pikeman storyline. If I had to work Pikeman one more time, I swear to you, all so Jesus, I'm going to lose it.
Well, with Finn and his descent, I've appreciated the more rapid pace of that. But like with Sonny and the diminished meds, like this is just killing me. It is just like, please, somebody give this man a blood test and let's go.
And he was normal last week. You couldn't tell he was off his meds last week. So what are we really saying here? You're just at the pool chilling.
Right.
With homophobic Maria Santos. No problems. No problems.
Maria Santos Gray. Maria Santos Gray.
Lady of Wildwood.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's a Paul Tuck Bus was a woman, not Pikeman. See, that's how much I don't really give a shit. That's how much the storylines is gone. Now they're blending together for me. Now they're blending together for you, Matt Bella. I don't even know who's a what's it's and who's it's. They're changing genders and all stuff. I'm just like, I am so over all of it. All of it. All of it. Yes, Frank?
He was all like, when Cyrus came back, he was like, I'm out to get Pikeman as well.
Right. He was part of that storyline. I mean, he was part. That was the whole thing. He was part of that too. I'm like, oh, so I also go, Mason used Paul Tuck Moff as a family, and Pikeman was called a woman. I thought Pikeman was called a woman on some part too. I thought there was a woman in there somewhere. Either way, the point is, let's end it, please. Let's end it. Let's just definitively say who it is, and let's end that storyline once the next thing. I'm like, I'm just, woo, kids and kidlets. I just can't take it anymore. I'm like, I'm ready. I am ready. Put a fork in me. I am done. Turn off the air fryer, everything. I am done with that storyline. Because like you said, they're trying to do this whole umbrella story, and it's not working. It's not, they really didn't do it. They didn't do it. And the whole thing is now, like I'm saying, we're in the middle of this regime change. So I think we're still in it. So we don't, you're right, it's not clear what's happening for what's the end game or what's the next step for a lot of these characters. But people were saying just a little tidbits because before we have to, we've been on for almost a little over an hour and a half. I mean, 103 people are watching us, so thank you guys for watching us. I appreciate it. My thing is, there are lots of loose ends that Frank and I was talking about. They're just kind of hanging out there. We haven't seen the Ashfords together as a family at all. We haven't seen Portia. They talk at all. They're trying to find a place to live with Gio, and they're showing us Gio though. They're giving us some Gio. They sure are. I mean, he's cute though. But they give us some Gio, Frank. What do you want to say, Frank?
Well, I'm digging Gio at least because he's, the way he's been brought on. I'm fine with that. I don't need more of a scene starting off. Well, Lois and Olivia said I need to be doing. We can drop that part of it.
You mean Aunt Lois and Olivia?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need that. We get it, Gio. But I enjoy a nice new teen set in there. But it seemed weird this week where Joss comes up to him and says, "Are you okay with Trina?" Because she seemed really upset. I'm like, I don't understand when there was a scene between Gio and Trina where she was kind of thrown off, where Joss needed to see, like, are you guys okay? Like, when did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
The thing is, and it's also weird because it's kind of like, is Gio for Joss?
No, no.
No,
I
this
don't
is
even
no.
see. I don't even see a vibe between Gio and Joss that doesn't seem like familial. It's I don't even understand. Like it's so clear he's there for Trina. You
But
cannot
nothing.
like that. That's fine, but he's there for Trina.
Chat. Someone says I don't see a Gina trio chemistry.
Oh. Mm,
I mean,
I'll give it a chance. I want Trina to have a story.
Oh
I
no,
think
me
that
too. No, me too.
we have not seen her. I want the Black people on the show to have a story because I don't think
Yes.
that you can get Trina having a story if you don't get the entire family involved. And so it is what it is. If they're not good together, maybe they'll move on, maybe they won't. But he's obviously and clearly there for Trina.
I agree. And I think the only reason people might feel that there isn't much chemistry yet is that they haven't had a lot of scenes together. A lot of Geo scenes have been with Jocelyn, and then Trina
That's
just
what I'm
comes in.
saying.
Yeah.
George is awesome all the time.
So,
But I
yeah.
think they're trying to slow walk it to not make Sprinter fans mad. Like that's a real
That's true.
fan base, right? And
They are.
so people still never really allowed Trina to properly grieve. Like and if you remember, despite whatever the actor, Rory wasn't well received. It's really difficult to pair somebody with Trina. So I think they're trying to slow walk it. I think they're doing not a great job of it. I don't think he needs to be in all those scenes with Joss.
Right.
But I don't see them pairing her. Like it's so clear they're pairing Joss with Dex. They're bringing that back together
Who
to
just
me
said
at least.
Gio has more chemistry with Dex?
I mean, I told you these men are just throwing around chemistry with everybody.
That's throwing it around.
These men are just tossing chemistry around with everyone.
With each other.
With each
I've
other.
always said I was waiting for a Chase Michael rub down. I've been waiting for that.
That's been the ship of my heart.
Exactly. I was like, when they were doing those, they were on that sauna, Frank's favorite scenes, when they were in the sauna. I'm like, okay, I see Chase and Michael talking. I mean, they were fighting at one point. I was like, are they getting turned on? What's going on here?
Yeah, we should just take our towels off. Okay.
Towels off. Yeah. Towels off. But see, I'm a self-avowed Chase fan, and Josh Fricker can do no wrong for me because he's hot as fuck. Him and that hairy chest. I even watched his Christmas movies with his wife.
I've watched them all.
I'm same here. I can stare at him all day long. So I just want to make sure I have that caveat out there. I think he's just like the bee's knees. Thank you, Terrence, for the super chat. He says, I think they're teasing a potential conflict between Jason and Drew, and people will have to choose sides. Michael with Jason and Willow with Drew.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Tell the writers to hit up Terrence because that sounds good.
And then Willow and Drew kiss.
My God.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Seriously, seriously, the way they're playing them to you, I'm like, wait, is something going on here?
Well, people keep calling Willow and Michael like Edward and Lila, and so maybe in that scenario, Willow will be the cheater, like Edward.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like that. I'm like, I like that. I have to choose side. Maybe that's what they're probably trying to put the J. Okay, then that would make sense. Because they don't have Jason and Drew never together for nothing. So like, you're right. Why would they? Jason doesn't care. Like what's going on? He's like, I've been through worse. He said, I've been through worse, and he has. But that could be something where people have to say, oh, that's interesting. And then Sam would take Drew's side for the scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Liz
Criminal.
take Jason's side. Sorry, what?
And he's not a criminal.
He's not a criminal. Exactly. Not a criminal. Like, Sam, you can't talk, bitch. But we love
Hold on.
Sam. I love Sam.
It's been years.
No, now you know. Now, number one, my most watched, people loved my interview with Kelly Monaco from the Emmys 2 years ago. That was my girl. She was real. I loved her.
I loved that interview.
Oh my God. It was a big run, a big seller for you. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Daytime Emmy Special 2022. Oh, yeah, 2022. and it's Kelly Monaco, and it's short, but it's funny, and she's totally real. And I love Kelly. I love Kelly, so I love that. But anyway, but I'm saying, they gotta choose sides. I like that, Terrence. Smart one.
Let's not forget we had a vintage Kelly Sam Cat walk scene at the Metro Court where she had to fall. The Jagger's arm.
Yeah.
You know that what made me go back and watch my old J Sam scene of her almost falling down the steps in that little pink thing.
I know, I love it. I mean, it's good. I mean, as we put a button on the show, and we're so glad you ladies came on our show. You have to come back.
James, we haven't even gotten to your favorite storyline, and that's TJ and Molly's baby.
Oh God!
I ignore that. That's what I was trying to be. See, Frank ruins everything. He knows I try to smoothly. Certain storylines, I'm always like, he'll go, "Oh, Michael and Willow." I don't want them either, folks. Since Frank brought it up,
Did they even totally forgot? Did they even come on this week?
Wait, didn't Molly come over to Trina?
to Christina.
Molly came over to Christina's place,
Oh,
right?
no, Molly went to Alexis this week. No, not Molly.
Christina
went to Alexis this week, and Molly did go so. Did she go so? See, I hate that storyline.
Yeah,
so much.
didn't Molly come over to talk to Christina about the blow up?
Week before.
That's week before. That's week before.
Okay.
Right. That's a week before, Frank.
Sorry.
It's a bad story. It's silly. They had one fight, and Christina was like, "I don't think they're gonna be together. This is our baby now."
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was all last week. It's like it was all about the alcohol and Sunny and whatever. Yeah, I don't think they were on.
And speaking of beautiful people, it bothers me that we have Taj behaving this way. TJ should be like Patrick Drake. Break up with Molly. Go be the hospital hoe. That's what I want to see from TJ. He is too fine to be making me mad this week, every week.
So funny. He's
wanting him to sleep with Carly and all kinds of folks. And
I wanted him to sleep with Portia.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see. I can't. Okay. So number one, I don't. I mean, I love my black. I root for everybody black. First of all, I'm rooting for everybody black. Me and Issa Rae, we're everybody black. But number two, he doesn't do anything for me. I'm a Curtis person. I'm a Dexter Bennett. I like my man a little chocolatey, a little more chocolate. But he is a strong black man that I feel like Brighton James on Why Not. They don't use him enough to make him a leading man. They should be leading man at this point. He's at the hospital. So I agree with you guys on that. I've always said him and Portia. Then I said him and Willow for a minute. Him and Willow.
Tree J is what people were calling it.
Yes. Yeah. And also, I was like, I saw them two guys. I said, there's a little something there. And then I also forget that it's his mother when he goes to Jordan. I'm like, I see him and Jordan. I'm like, oh, that's his mother.
Yeah. That's why you don't see them together that often.
No, I don't want to see them together because I see other things. And I'm like, I don't even see that because I'm like, they look kind of cute together too.
He has chemistry with Tabiana too. Again, these men just tossing the chemistry out everywhere indiscriminately.
Or everybody's like, yeah, TJ and Portia. No, I seriously, when they were confiding each other and talking, I was like, and that would be a shakeup. Oh, Curtis would lose his shit.
I don't know. Curtis likes the white women too much on that show. I don't think
he can go be with Nina.
I don't think he cares enough.
Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God. She said it. Yes. So he's friends with some of the fair-haired ladies of the show and supports them. But he never went there with any of them. That's so interesting. They never had him go there. He's always been with the black chicks.
Yeah.
The kid always kept him that. She does look too young to play Taj's blows my I know. And that happens all the time, of course. There's a question from Brooklyn Raina, who is from Brooklyn, BK, that's right, I went to Park right here. Says to Tonya and Tracey, and I know the answer already, but she wants to know, are you guys late? Are you late? Oh, I'll be like this week? Are you still guys doing your podcast?
No, this is it for this week. We'll just share this one.
Yeah, please share it. Mm-hmm. So that's, yes, that's the one. So it won't be, yes, Tonya. Yeah, okay, yeah, so it won't be, so this is in lieu of their show. They talked about it already. You don't talk about it again. They aren't talking about it. You guys know their stuff. So, so that's good. But yeah, they'll be back. They'll be back again. Make sure folks, you're following them. Shit. But no, this. So is that all, Frank? Did I catch everything?
Yeah, I guess there weren't
You
any.
miss Vanna.
I mentioned them
We
earlier.
talked about
Roll
Vanna.
our eyes. I said I like Vanna. We also I like Vanna together. I
Oh, yeah.
in depth. I like Vanna
Yeah.
together, but her trying to seduce him, so to speak, together. We all four of us rolled our eyes.
I
Yeah.
love Jason seeing it though. Jason was like, I thought we were.
It felt like James Patrick Stewart was very tan this week.
He
Yeah.
did look very tanned.
Like
He
somebody
did.
just came off a vacation, and I appreciated it. So there you go.
He was like, I was like, is he black? I was like, he was like light
I
skinned.
didn't think that.
I was saying like light skinned, like you know, coming all shades. I was just kind of like, light skinned. It was a little that olive skin was a little olivey.
He's Greek.
He's Greek, right? And Frank, of course, your emails. The fans are already asking for your email counts, the famous email count that we heard around the world.
Here we go.
Oh my God, he's at 291,134.
Wow.
That he said.
Oh my God! I look at my phone now.
He's trying to get 300,000.
Only at 44,000. I thought I was bad.
44,000, you guys. That's crazy. I mean,
I want to know when you guys are doing the Acolyte podcast, because
well, do you want to do it? Well, if you're available, you can join us live. You want to come on the show? You can come on. So we do it at 7:00 on Wednesday.
On Wednesday? Oh man, we gotta do the budget. Can I just ask you
Fuck the budget. Fuck the budget. Don't do the budget. Screw the budget. Star Wars more important. But no, we'll be on at 7. You can watch.
We need her to do the budget.
We're off from like 7 to 8:30, and then you can always watch it afterwards. I know you're watching, but you're welcome to come on the show anytime you want to come on.
I'm curious about who you guys think Smilo Ren is.
Hello, Frank.
I mean, I feel like it's too easy for it to be Keimer. So I feel like that it's got to be one of the which is it could be the mom.
Yeah, because Milo is kind of slender. But anyway, I'll let y'all have that discussion. Thanks for having.
You're welcome anytime to come on that show if you want to.
Okay.
But yes, those ladies, thanks for coming on the show. Thank you so much. It was so much fun. We loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mind the gap, right? The girl, mind the gap. I'm very proud of mine. So people talk about it. They say we're sexy and smart. My mother told me the same thing. She has a gap too. That's all it is. So I'll let the ladies go first with telling where you can find them and all that. So Tracey, you go first, then Tonya, and then Mr. Moran.
Oh, you can find us on any audio platforms for GH Sunday Shift. We also come in every Sunday on YouTube. And you can find us at GH Sunday Shift on Instagram, which is our only social media platform.
Yes, that's who these Nubian. So yes, who these Nubian sisters? That's who they are. Go ahead, Miss Tonya, Miss Love. Go ahead, please.
Oh well, yeah. You can find me where Tracey said.
Nothing extra. Okay, got it. Nothing extra.
I'm running for city council for.
Hello. She's running for city council.
Yeah, I'm running for city council. That's crazy. Pray for me.
We're praying for you, girl.
Thank you.
Support you. And then Frank Moran, what are you doing these days?
Not much. I hope that Drew's campaign will, give you some tips.
Oh my God. This campaign is crazy. I'm like really curious about how detailed they're gonna go into this campaign process, because I got a lot of questions and critiques.
Tanya gotta change her last name to Quartermain.
Oh yeah, he's becoming Quartermain. That's right, he's becoming Quartermain now.
It is best loveforoakland.com. How can that lose? Quartermain is a boring name. Oh, whatever.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yes, Frank.
Yeah, find me on the socials at Happy Go Jackie. Usually just posting artwork in X-Men 97 stuff.
Which is a show he works on. Everybody likes X-Men 97. It's a huge.
Everybody loves it.
It's a huge. He works on it. It's a huge hit. So we're very happy for Frank about that. Yeah, it's his job. It's his real job.
Well, thank you for telling me at the end, so I could fan out at the end.
There you go.
Everybody's loving it. Everybody's loving it. So that's a rare thing when people are just like, everybody's like basically loving it. And I'm just telling you, Bo DeMaio, stop taking your shirt off. It's distracting me. Who wrote X-Men 97?
Nope, he's not going to.
Every picture of Frank is his bosom, and I
Yeah.
can't stop staring at him.
There you go.
And you can find me where all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. That's right, every single one of them. And yes, I'm going viral right now because of my bread and refrigerator video. I know it's 3 years old and it's still going. And I've gotten lots of subscribers in the last 3 or 4 days. I've got about 700 new subscribers, 700. So I'm in the middle of a viral moment. I do have bread in my refrigerator. I do currently. But I want to thank to all the new fans. Please continue to subscribe and watch my other product also, like these soap shows. They're on every Sunday. We'll be back next time. Me and Frank will be back next Sunday to talk about this again.